بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Alright, so yesterday we took the hadith of Abu Hurairah, من نفس عن مؤمن كربة من كرب الدنيا. So we took the hadith and I said inshallah today we're going to leave off going over all the benefits from this hadith because obviously there's a lot, so we didn't have time. The class had already 40 something minutes yesterday before, so I was like, alright, let's finish it. Alright, so we are on page 27 on the first paragraph from the bottom. First of all, I left the chain of narration in this hadith on purpose. Alright, a while back I did a video on YouTube about Al-A'mash, and since Al-A'mash was in this chain of narration, I left it in the book. Second, where do I begin with this hadith? There are so many virtuous and righteous behaviors that we as Muslims should have that are mentioned in this hadith. I will summarize the major points, bullet point style, inshallah. 1. If you find a person suffering from a burden in this dunya, assist them in relieving the burden, and Allah will relieve a burden from you on the Day of Judgment. This could be anything the person is having problems with. If the person cannot find a job to feed his family, help him find a job. If the person is having problems with the rent, help him with the rent. If the person is having trouble feeding his family, due to poverty, help him feed his family, and so on and so forth. If a person has a debt with you, this is number 2. All right, and this so the first one is what? Man nafasa mu'minan what? And qurabatan min qurab ad-dunya nafasa Allahu anhu qurabatan min qurab yawm al-qiyamah. So whoever relieves a burden from a believer in this life, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will relieve a burden from him in this life and the next. All right, the second one. If a person has a debt with you and he is experiencing money difficulties that prevent him from paying the debt back on time, give that person some respite until he can pay the money back comfortably. You're bringing ease for this person will be the cause of you getting that same, that's a mistake in grammar. Will be the cause of your getting. It's a grammatical mistake, common grammatical mistake amongst English speakers nowadays because you don't study grammar, but it should be you're getting the same. All right, but anyways. All right, you're bringing ease for this person will be the cause of your getting that same ease on the day that most people will have no ease. You need that ease on that day more than anybody needs it in the dunya. All right, and of course this is man yassara ala mu'sarin yassara Allahu alayhi the dunya wal akhirah, right? All right, number 3.
Ya wa man yassara ala mu'sarin yassara Allahu alayhi.
Alright. Conceal and cover up the faults of your brother. Alright. So this goes back to the Satr al-Mu'min. Alright. So Allah covers and conceals your faults in this life and the next. That does not include the people that are calling to misguidance. If people are calling to misguidance, it is incumbent upon the people of knowledge to warn the people from the callers to misguidance, even if it means mentioning a lot of their faults. However, the faults that are what?
The callers that goes against Islam.
Yeah, the danger. But if whatever other faults that he has that are things that are not dangerous to the Muslims, that's not, you don't talk about that. It's only permissible to talk about the faults of a person that are harmful to another Muslim. That's it, nothing else. So that doesn't give you free rein to just start bashing the person. And this is what a lot of people do. They think because a person has committed some type of bid'ah, some type of inhiraf, that now he can just what? They can sit around and just have this backbiting party, and just start, no, it does not mean that now his everything becomes halal for you to know. It only becomes halal to you speak about it for maslahah. All right, to speak about it to warn the Muslims against his danger. If that's not the case, then you stay quiet about him. Khalas. You can't mention all those other faults. For example, whatever. Every time he stops at a red light, he picks his nose or something like that. It's like, what's the benefit of mentioning something stupid like that? Or maybe he's like one of the people who he puts his shoes on with his left foot first and instead of his right foot. You're going to nitpick like on these types of things, and he's calling to the misguidance. Focus on the dangers. Of course, yes, it's a sunnah to what? Put your right foot on, put your right shoe, right shoe first, your left foot, that's the sunnah. But what are we going to focus on? Yeah, we're going to focus on the things that are harmful to the people. Those types of things we can, if he gets rid of the bid'ah, inshallah, and goes back to the sunnah, he'll start changing those things. Inshallah. So he said, what? Yeah, so we finished that one, right?
As long as you remain.
Where is it?
As long as you remain.
Okay, so the next one. As long as you remain in the assistance of your brothers in this deen, Allah will continue to assist you in your affairs. That's about that. Man kana fi in Allah fi aun al-abd ma kana al-abdu fi aun akhihi. All right. The next one. The easiest path to Jannah is the path of knowledge. It is not the easiest path in this life because it requires a lot of sacrifices. You will have to give up most of all the things you enjoy during and after you're seeking knowledge. But the way to Jannah will be made easy for you. Be patient, O student of knowledge. Alright, the next one. From the virtues of sitting in the masjids and learning the book of Allah is the tranquility and serenity will encompass the students. Allah will encompass them in His mercy. The angels will gather around them in their sitting. And the best of all, Allah will mention them to the angels. And the final one, if you are slow in acting, do not think your lineage is going to make up for your lack of action. Your lineage and status mean nothing on the day of judgment. Alright, so what a beautiful hadith. This hadith should be memorized by all Muslims and taught to the children as soon as they can understand Arabic. Another thing that should motivate people to seek knowledge is that it is one of the three things that benefit a person while he is in the grave. This we can see from the following hadith and Abi Hurairah radiallahu anhu. أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إذا مات الإنسان انقطع عنه عمله إلا من ثلاثة من صدقة جارية أو علم ينتفع به أو ولد صالح يدعو له. So here Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reported that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if a person dies, all of his actions are cut off. They come to an end, except for three things. And he said, except for sadaqatan jariyah. Sadaqatan jariyah is what?
Ongoing charity.
Yeah, it's a waqf. Something that he made as a waqf for the people to benefit from after his death. This could be a masjid. This could be a library. And this could be a well. It could be if he had a fruit garden and he gave the fruit garden as charity so all the poor Muslims could eat from it. So only the poor people can go there and they can just pick up whatever fruit they need, whatever the case may be. If there's a multitude of ways. He could have set up some type of foundation or something, feeding the poor or something.
Books.
Books. Writing book. Well, that's the different thing. That's going to be the second one. All right. If he bought books as a library and left the library behind for the Muslims to benefit, yes, for students of knowledge, yes, no doubt. All right. The second one, he said, "Ilman yuntafa'u bih." So this is knowledge that's left behind because he taught the people. And then the people that he taught, then they teach the people, and then those people teach people, and then those people teach people, and the knowledge continues to go and go and go and go. So he continues to get the reward. He's long in his grave. Like imagine, Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, or let's go even further back, Ibn Abdul Barr, or Ibn Qudama, or even go further back, Khatib al-Baghdadi, or Ibn Hazm, or Bukhari. Let's look at Bukhari. Imagine the reward that he's still getting today in his grave for the knowledge that he left behind. But I use somebody like Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn Qayyim, and people like that because they left what?
Precious words.
Bukhari is a precious word. Bukhari left some precious words, but the thing is that Bukhari, he left for example, a Tarikh al-Kabir, Kabir al-Tarikh al-Saghir. Who's going to read that? Students of knowledge, that's it. No, this is not for average layman Muslim to pick up. Tarikh al-Kabir for Bukhari is a huge book, and it goes through all the different history and the names of the narrators and all the stuff, and he gives different hukum on them. This is for the muhaddithin. This is for the people of hadith. That's the only people that are going to sit down and read this. And even Sahih Bukhari, who's really going to sit down and read Bukhari? But then you look at the books like Ibn al-Qayyim, you know, like look at the types of books that he wrote that anybody can benefit from them. You know, you get the student of knowledge benefits from them. You know, the layman can benefit from them. You know, he's got different levels of books. So and that's why I say like, you know, somebody like him, just imagine.
Imam Sa'di.
Hmm?
Imam Sa'di.
Yeah, also. But his books are not as muntashir. You know, you gotta understand like everybody will probably at one time in their life read a book from Ibn al-Qayyim. But I don't, you know, there's probably a lot of people that could probably say that they'll live their whole life without reading a book from Imam Sa'di. So, now most of the people in Mauritania that go and seek knowledge in Mauritania, they probably never, like some of those students there might never even have heard of him. They don't have his books, you know. So, unless they're like from Ahlul Sunnah. So, but Ibn al-Qayyim, you can go anywhere in the world.
Oh, Imam Nawawi.
Huh?
Imam Nawawi.
Yeah, there you go. Riyadh al-Salihin, Arba'in al-Nawawi, you know, just the, you know, and these are just his small works. You know, forget like his bigger things, you know, Sharh al-Muhaddith, you know.
Hajj, Sharh Sahih.
That's still one of his smaller works. Yeah, he's got much bigger things, man. So, but those are the bigger things, again, that's going to be students of knowledge. But the thing about it is that the students of knowledge are going to benefit from those books, and they're going to take that information and they're going to teach it to the people, inshallah. Alright, so then after that he said, waladin salihin yad'u lahu, or a righteous son that makes dua for him. Alright, so his children continue to make dua for him after his death. You know, that's beautiful. Y'all better do that, so. If I go before y'all, we'll help each other out, okay? Whoever goes first makes dua for the, you know, the ones that stay behind make dua for whoever goes first, huh?
It's a bit off topic.
Yeah, leave it. If a person spent money, because you see, you can't ask off-topic questions.
I know that's
they can ask them, but you can't. You know why?
because I see you more.
Yeah, because you can. As soon as we stop the recording, you can ask whatever you want. So, all right. If a person spent money in the path of Allah, such as building a masjid or buying books for a library for students of knowledge, this will continue to benefit him in the grave because the people are still benefiting from this charity after his death. If he leaves beneficial knowledge behind that the people continue to benefit from, he will benefit from this in his grave because his students will teach the knowledge that he taught them. And this also includes writing books. All right, so obviously writing books nowadays, you know, I mean, imagine like the benefit nowadays where we still benefit from Sheikh Al-Albani from his audios, Sheikh Al-Uthaymeen from his audios, Sheikh Baz from his audios, Sheikh Mubal from his audios. So imagine that, like now we use so many different ways to leave behind knowledge, you know, so alhamdulillah. The only problem is because the wasa'il have opened up so much, what happens when it becomes so much easier to do things is that it tends to get what?
People get lazy.
No, it tends to, well, I mean, people can get lazy anyways, but it tends to get watered down, where it's like it's hard to find real content, real people talking about the truth. You know, what you get is a bunch of just, because anybody now can just hit record. All he needs is an internet connection, a microphone. Anybody can just sit at home and just start pushing out content day and night, saying whatever he wants to say, whatever his opinion is.
Harvard student.
You know, Harvard students, or you know,
That's an inside thing.
Harvard, whoever. You know, I mean, there's a bunch of people. There's so many people. I mean, it's not just limited to him. He's just one of many. You know, so a long time. All right, so he said, what? If he leaves behind beneficial knowledge behind that the people continue to benefit from, he will benefit from that in his grave because his students will teach the knowledge that he taught them. If he has a pious, righteous son that continues to make dua for him, he will benefit from that after his death. We have a lot of work to do. These three actions are the true meaning of leaving a legacy. The kuffar speak about leaving a legacy all the time, but what do people benefit from those kuffar after their deaths? The answer is nothing. You know, all these kuffar, all they do, what do they leave behind? A company, a house, something that just ends up gone, you know, and they're not remember for anything. I never ever in my whole entire life read a history book where a businessman did something great throughout history. I don't even know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's history books that I haven't read. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of history books I haven't. Of course, the more than the history books that I haven't read are way more than the history books that I have read. Because I mean, just think about all the history books. I mean, you got the history about the fall of Rome, which is like 12 volumes. That's just amongst the kuffar. But then you look at like, you know, the Tariq of Ibn Khaldun. You got the, you know, Bidayah wa Nihaya of Ibn Kathir. And you got, you know, Ibn Jarir also has a history book. And then, you know, so many books. But the point is that I've never ever seen anybody that spoke highly of Tujjar. Like, they don't have a place in history books. So when we talk about like leaving that legacy behind and leaving something behind, you don't find that. The only person that I know of that, you know, really benefited from what he did with his money, well, okay, two people that they mentioned that. But they weren't just known for their money. They were known for their knowledge and their money. Was number one is Uthman, radiallahu anhu. Abu Bakr also, because Abu Bakr gave all his wealth, you know, you know, but Uthman, he used to support so many, you know, battles. And then Abdullah ibn Mubarak. Because Abdullah ibn Mubarak was very rich. He's very rich, but he used his money all in the path of, but he's a muhaddith, you know. And Abdullah ibn Mubarak was not known, he didn't make it into the history books for what he did with his money. He made it into the history books for what? His knowledge and his actions. You know, he used to go on Hajj one year and go fight the next year. This man is rich. He doesn't, you know, he doesn't have to do anything. He could just sit at home and stay comfortable his whole life. When he used to go on Hajj, the people would go to Hajj with him. He'd have a group come visit him first. And they'd go to Hajj together. So he has a trunk. He said, look, he said, put all your money, because they used to take those little coins, you know, like gold coins, in these little bags. He said, put all your bags in this trunk. I'm going to lock the trunk up. We're going to go to Hajj. And I'm going to spend, you know, I'll take care of you guys. And then, you know, we'll deal with the money later, right? So then he'd go and they'd lock up all their money in his house. And they would go out to Hajj. And Abdullah ibn Mubarak would spend on all of them. The whole entire Hajj. When Hajj is finished, they come back to his house. He opens up the trunk and says, here's your money. Get out of here. You know, he won't take anything from them. Imagine the ajr. Imagine the reward for, like, you know, just, yeah, you know what I'm saying? SubhanAllah. Those are the Sadiqun, man. SubhanAllah. Those are the Sadiqun. That's why you need to get Sirah al-Nubala, man. You just need to read the lives about these people. Just read their lives. Just read. Just go to Sirah al-Nubala. Just read about their lives. It's just amazing. Stuff that they used to do, and they just, man. You want a cure for arrogance? That's a cure right there. Read through the lives of the people that went before. We're nothing. We have nothing to be proud about. Nothing. The only thing that we can say is, alhamdulillah, we have Islam. And we try to follow the sunnah, but wallahi, compared to them, yeah, we're like dirt on the sandals, man. Seriously. We should be happy to be that. You know, like if we were dirt on their sandals, it would be something to brag about. Almost not. Alright. So he said, we have a lot of work to do. These three actions are the true meaning of leaving a legacy. The kuffar speak about leaving a legacy all the time, but what do people benefit from those kuffar after their deaths? The answer is nothing. However, a Muslim that has knowledge and spent his life teaching that knowledge through lessons and books left a legacy of benefit for the people. That is a real legacy. That is something we need to work towards leaving behind us when we leave this world. We have to continue to seek knowledge until we are placed in our graves. It is when the people stop seeking knowledge that ignorance is going to spread throughout the earth. That is what we see today. This was told to us by our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the following hadith. And Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As رضي الله عنهما قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول إن الله لا يقبض العلم انتزاعا ينتزعه من العباد ولكن يقبض العلم بقبض العلماء حتى إذا لم يبقي عالما اتخذ الناس رؤوسا جحالا فسئلوا فأفتوا بغير علم فضلوا وأضلوا. So here Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, he reported that he heard the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He does not take the knowledge away from the people by simply snatching it out, like just snatching it away from His servants. But He takes it away by what? By causing the death of the scholars. Alright, so the scholar, he dies, and he doesn't leave behind anybody that can take his place, because the people were not serious about seeking knowledge. So now you see a person like, an example, look at what happened in Los Angeles, Fareed. And the people, they didn't take them seriously, and they had the most beautiful opportunity to really sit down and learn their deen from a person in America. Who's left now? What is there now? He's gone. Now what? Nothing. It's nothing. So you see, like, this is a big musibah. Mother is not from, he's in Oakland.
Oh, he's in America. Like just
No, I'm talking about Los Angeles.
Oh.
I'm saying in the area, because this is not about the whole world. This hadith is about, and maybe this happens in certain areas. Because you see Sheikh Mukbul died, rahimahullah, and he left behind super duper strong students.
100,000 graduates of football.
Yeah, I mean, so he left, super strong students. I couldn't even sit here, people sit there and talk about Sheikh Yahya. Yes, Sheikh Yahya is the biggest student of Sheikh Mukbul. But you got way more. I mean, you got Fath al-Qadasi, Sheikh Fath al-Qadasi, you got Sheikh Abu Bilal al-Hadrami, Sheikh Abdul Hamid al-Hujuri, you got Sheikh Abu Amr al-Hujuri, you got Sheikh Hussein al-Hatibi. I mean, so many. I can sit here, Sheikh Rashad al-Dadi'i, so many people that he left behind. It's no joke, that's a ni'mah. But there are certain people, certain areas where the Sheikh dies, and he doesn't leave behind that level of students, Maybe he leaves behind students that learn a little bit, but they can't take over what he was doing. And then what happens now, there's a faragh, there's this void that's left when that Sheikh is gone. And so the people now, while that Sheikh was alive, they wanted knowledge, He kind of like gave the people this rughbah, this desire for knowledge, but now he's gone, he died. So what are the people going to do? They want to look for this knowledge now, but it's not there. So what are they going to end up doing? They're going to look for anybody.
Going to the wrong person.
And they end up going to the wrong person. The person, manipulates, takes advantage of the situation and dresses in the costume and puts on an act and takes advantage of the people. So Allah musta'an. So he said, so this is what happens. So he said, وَلَكِنْ يَقْبِضُ الْعِلْمِ بِقَبْضِ الْعُلَمَاءِ. So he takes the knowledge away from the people with the death of the ulama. حتى إذا لم يبقي عالما, until he doesn't leave an alim, a scholar in one area. اتخذ الناس رؤوسا جهالا. So then they take, as their leaders, they take just the most ignorant people just full of ignorance. فسئلوا, and these people are asked about affairs of the deen, فأفتوا بغير علم, and then they give the fatwa without any knowledge whatsoever. فأضلوا وأضلوا, and then they themselves, they are misguided, they go astray, and then they lead the other people astray with them. So this hadith is in Bukhari and Muslim. Scary hadith in reality. And this is what you see all throughout America. There's this void when the people, they get hyped up, they want to learn their deen, they go to the masajid, they find somebody who's what?
Just an imam.
With somebody that they think or trust that this is a person of knowledge, and then the person takes them right away. This word in the Arabic language is what?
Which word?
The charlatan. How do you say this in the Arabic language? Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah is known for using this word a lot. Al-mutahadliq.
Mutahadliq?
And al-mutahadliq. Because it comes from hadiq. Al-hadiq is a mahir. No, al-hadiq of Bishay is a mahir. Like he's perfected it, he's mastered it. But the mutahadliq is a person who pretends like he's a master of something, like he's mastered it, but he's not. He's a pretender, he's a faker. He just dupes the people, so he acts like he's mastered this, but he hasn't. And mutahadliq. If you read the books of Shaykh al-Islam, you'll see that. All a person has to do today is open up social media and see the truth of this hadith. We can see people throughout social media giving fatwa after fatwa, and these individuals never studied the deen a day in their lives. Most of them, in fact, the vast majority of them do not even understand Arabic, which is crazy. These dudes are like going out giving fatwas from stuff that they read in English. It is sad. These misguided individuals forgot the statement of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the following hadith, and Abdullah ibn Amr radiallahu anhuma, and the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam قال بلغوا عني ولو آية وحدثوا عن بني إسرائيل ولا حرج ومن كذب علي متعمدا فليتبوأ مقعده من النار. Alright, so here Abdullah ibn Amr, he reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, convey the message, to the people. The hadith and what the Prophet ﷺ said, even if it's what? A single ayah, if it's just one ayah from the Quran. And tell about what happened to the people of Bani Israel, wala haraj. But of course, this is what? When we talk about these stories of Bani Israel, we're talking about what agrees with what we have from the Quran. So this does not give you the permission to go to the Bible and start snatching stories out the Bible and say, well, the Prophet said this. No, we have the stories of what happened to Bani Israel. We have them in the Quran. We have them in the Sunnah. And what we have is way more beneficial than anything. It does not give the person permission to just start snatching stories out from Bani Israel and start narrating all this and confusing the Muslims. If you want to narrate something to somebody, narrate the stories of Bani Israel, and what happened to them, and what what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about them, and everything. Narrate it from the Quran, narrate it from the Sunnah. People, they take this as like a rukhsah to go and just start reading the books of the Christians and start. No, man, we don't have nothing to do with those books. All right, as far as any of the akhbar of the Nasara and the Jews and the Christians, what?
We don't.
It's a waquf. No, we don't accept it, we don't reject it. If we see something that agrees with something that's in the Quran and the Sunnah, then we accept what's in the Quran and the Sunnah. And then we accept that, okay, this might be something that wasn't changed, but it doesn't matter because they don't even have their original books anymore. And the Jews nowadays, they don't even use the Torah, they use the other book. What's that thing called? The Talmud or something like that. So,
every day something new.
Yeah, but the point is that this is this is not that type of rukhsah to go around and just start becoming a Bible thumper just because, it's like, well, the Prophet said, yeah, narrate the stories. Hadith an Bani Israel, what happened to them? Wala haraj. It's in the Quran, it's in the Sunnah, hadith an. Alright, and he said, وَمَنْ كَذَبَ عَلَيَّ مُتَعَمِّدًا, and whoever tells a lie about me on purpose, فَلْيَتَبَوَّأْ مَقْعَدَهُ مِنَ النَّارِ, then he should take his place, his seat in the hellfire. He should prepare a seat in the hellfire. So Allah understand, that's a huge. But this, of course, the condition is what?
You have to do it.
Man كَذَبَ عَلَيْهِ مُتَعَمِّدًا. What?
Intentional.
Yeah, it has to be intentional because you mess up. You might think that this is a hadith of the Prophet, and you say, call the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but then you find out, oh man, that wasn't the statement of the Prophet, that was the statement of one of the Sahaba. Or maybe it is a hadith that's mawdu', it's just a lie, but you just forgot it. That's not what the hadith is about. The people make mistakes, and if you make a mistake, that's different, So you see this in the books of Ibn al-Jawzi, and you see this even in al-Mawdu'at from Ibn al-Jawzi. He made mistakes. So he made mistakes. I mean, it's we're human, but this is for the person who intentionally does that. Just like, people that make up a hadith and make up things. Or he knows that the hadith is mawdu', but he continues to narrate it to the people, and he doesn't explain it to the people. He says, the Prophet ﷺ said, the Prophet ﷺ said. You can't say that the Prophet ﷺ said this, and you know that this hadith is fabricated. You know that it's made up. You can't say that. You can say that it is said, they said that the Prophet said, but then explain that this hadith is fabricated, and it's not authentic. It's rejected completely. But if you don't do that, then you fall into this hadith. Alright, so he said, most of the misguided callers to Islam are quick to reference the first part of this hadith. However, they seem to shy away from focusing on the last part. So they reference the first part because they want to do what? They want to give dawah, and you want to use the Bible and call to the stories of the Bible, which is complete foolishness. Alright, you call to the Quran and the Sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ did not call the Christians and the Jews to like what? He didn't pick up their books and start arguing with them with what's in their books. What did he do?
He recited the Quran and he gave them the Quraysh.
Yeah, he gave them the dawah from the Quran. Yeah, so that's that. You don't go around just sitting there, your book has been changed, and sitting there like highlighted pages all throughout the Bible and spending all this time, probably spending more time with the Bible than he spends with the Quran. No, this is not dawah. Dawah is the Quran and the Sunnah. Dawah is to, you tell them this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran. This is what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the Sunnah. Let them accept that. But all you're doing when you're doing this type of stuff is you're showing them what? Your religion is wrong. So what? Now he doesn't know, so now he goes and becomes an atheist now. Who cares about, tell them about the Quran and the Sunnah. Let them know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. And let them accept that or reject that. All this other stuff about arguing with the Christians and trying to use their book, and this is crazy. You never see that from the Tariq of the Salaf.
Let's see your phone battery.
Huh?
Your phone battery.
Not.
Is it a different phone or?
He's recording on this, I'm recording the audio, so this is already something. Alright, so most of the misguided callers to Islam are quick to reference the first part of this hadith. However, they seem to shy away from focusing on the last part. The last part is the most important. Speaking about Allah's deen without knowledge is from the major sins. Allah said in His book, قُلْ إِنَّمَا حَرَّمَ رَبِّيَ الْفَوَاحِشَ مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا وَمَا بَطَنَ وَالْإِثْمَ وَالْبَغْيَ بِغَيْرِ الْحَقِّ وَأَن تُشْرِكُوا بِاللَّهِ مَا لَمْ يُنَزِّلْ بِهِ سُلْطَانًا وَأَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Say, my Lord, is only forbidden open and secret indecencies. Alright, all type of fawahish. Alright, we talked about the fawahish is what? It's worse than the ma'asi. It's worse, it's more immoral, more, and more indecent than the regular sin. Alright, ma dhahara minha wa ma batan. So this is like the open and the secret. Alright, well, ithm, and then he mentioned an ithm to show that there's a difference between an ithm and what? Al-fahisha. The fahisha is what? Much worse. Much worse. Well, ithm, well, baghya. Well, baghya is what? An ithm is sin.
Transgression.
A transgression. Alright, then he mentioned بِغَيْرِ الْحَقِّ, obviously, وَأَن تُشْرِكُوا بِاللَّهِ, and to associate the partners مَا لَمْ يُنَزِّلْ بِهِ سُلْطَانًا, which he is not what? He has not authorized, he's not sent down any authority for this, which is obviously, he hasn't. Alright, وَأَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ, and to speak about, to say about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that which you do not know. This is from the major sins. People that speak about the deen without knowledge follow the commands of shaitan, not the commands of Allah. Allah said in the Quran, إِنَّمَا يَأْمُرُكُمْ بِالسُّوءِ وَالْفَحْشَاءِ وَأَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. So, إِنَّمَا يَأْمُرُكُمْ وَمَا يَأْمُرُكُمْ? Shaitan. So this is shaitan saying that verily shaitan, he only commands you to do what? To do evil. Incites you, like get you all excited to do evil. وَالْفَحْشَاءِ, and all these types of indecent and immoral acts. And وَأَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ, and to get you to say about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that which you have no knowledge about. Alright, so these are the things, these are the doors that shaitan tries to open and try to get the people through. So he tries to get the people through just evil and sin and fawahish. If he can't get the person through that because the person is trying to be religious, then he tries to get them through another door, like to get you to speak about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's religion, that which you have no knowledge. Major, major sin. The people that follow the commands of Allah speak about His religion with knowledge and evidence. Allah said about these individuals in the Quran, قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ عَلَى بَصِيرَةٍ أَنَا وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِي وَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ وَمَا أَنَا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي. He's telling the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, say that this is my path. أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ, that I call to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ala basira. And what does ala basira mean? With knowledge. Alright, with knowledge. That he calls to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, calls to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with what? With knowledge. Alright, ana wa man ittaba'ani, and the people that follow me, they do the same. So the true people that follow the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they call to this deen with knowledge. Wa subhanallahi wa ma ana min al-mushrikeen. And subhanallah, it means what?
Like the definition or translation?
Both.
Like the translation, the meaning is like when you say subhanallah, you are saying that like Allah is free from any imperfections. Like subhanallah, like it's oftentimes it's translated to glory be to Allah or exalted as Allah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I put it here as that, but because it's to translate it in its proper form, like the proper meaning, it takes up a lot of space, But
it has been worded as Allah is more closer to you.
No, it means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you're saying that Allah is free from any imperfections. Right? There's no imperfections. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is perfect. And there's no imperfections with him. Good. وَمَا أَنَا مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ, and I'm not from the people who associate partners with Allah. Alright, so here we're about to finish the chapter, mashallah. Therefore it is clear who is from the party of Allah. Yeah, who's the party of Allah?
Oh, Hezbollah.
Not those Rafidah in Lebanon. And who's from the party of Shaitan? That's the
Bid'ah people.
Rafidah, Ashab al-Bid'ah, yes. Those that call to this deen with knowledge are the people that have followed the commands of Allah. They are the party of Allah and they will be victorious. Those that call to this deen without knowledge or following the commands of Shaitan, they are the party of Shaitan and they will be the losers in this life and the next. May Allah increase us in beneficial knowledge and righteous actions. May Allah make us from those that call to His deen with knowledge and wisdom. Ameen. Alright. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu